I want to reveal to you some mystical findings of mine in the Chabad attack in California. People are willing to receive the good in any situation, but they're not willing to accept the apparent evil that produces the good. And this Chabad attack is a great opportunity for Judaism in general, and Chabad in particular. And it's a blessing that's come from God. And one has to see that. I listened to the first-hand account that the rabbi gave. In many forms I've listened to it. And it's a very unique thing. And when I listened to it, he said that he was shot, protecting himself with the fingers. And he actually looked at the assailant in the eye and saw pure evil. And this is what put me on. And then apparently the woman jumped in between the rabbi and the assailant. And so I put a lot of things, the woman who died jumped in between here. And I've put together a few things that, first of all, for me, everything is fated. And so this attack was fated, and like everything else, every event is an opportunity, which I've said earlier. But the point is, let me explain some of the mystical stuff. As I've talked about in previous videos, but now have an opportunity to show you how it manifests in real time, in the actual flesh, that the angel Michael and the angel or devil or whatever it is, Samael, are the same angel. Michael and Samael are the same angel. And how do you get that? How would you know that the Michael and Samael are the same angel? They have different gematria. They're the same angel split into two functions. Because down here in the physical world, we're split into two-ness. The angel Michael has a gematria of 101, and the angel Samael has a gematria of 131. How could they be the same? Let me continue a little bit. The angel Michael is the transporter of souls of the Jewish people, the defender of the Jewish people, the advocate of the Jewish people, like the rabbi was and is. And Samael is the destroyer of the Jewish people. He is the evil twin. He's the destroyer. He's the Satan. He is Satan, with a different name. But I'll show something there later too. Samael is the Nahash, the snake. He's pure evil. And when the rabbi, quote, said, I looked into his eyes, I saw evil. Pure evil. I don't know if he said pure evil. We have to check it. Evil. And it was evil. He's looking at there. And then the guy shoots. And he does some shots. And the woman dies. And who's the woman in this? a protector of Jewish people, but it's not Michael. Michael is a male figure. The woman here is the Shekinah, and I'll show you something about this. The divine presence as the feminine, the in-between, Hashem, feminine, and then us, so to speak, in the world. And we kind of like make contact with the Shekinah. She's the blockage. But all three, wait till you see this. It's in the fullness of Michael and Samel, in the full spellings, that they're equal. I've said this in a previous video. I'm going to put it as a link. Samel, fully spelt out, Michael, fully spelt out, and that's the rabbi, is 385. Samel, fully spelt out, is 385. So this rabbi is pure hesed, pure love, leader of a congregation and the Jewish people. It's Michael. And the assailant, this 19-year-old nut. But we need a nut. He's Samel, 385. They're one angel split to create the situation. The tension between them, like a male and a female, a right and a left, a good and an evil, has to come. And the woman who dies, it gets in between. When he's shooting, she protects. She's in between. She's separate from Hashem, from Michael, but she's in between. She's in there too. She's the Shekinah. Now the Shekinah, in regular gematria, okay, is 385. Not in its full. It's 592 and minus 5 and 1, 6. Could be Yerushalayim, Shofar, Yesod, all sorts of things. But for here, it's 385. The normative gematria of Shekinah in its spelling is 385. So we have three things here of 385. Three parallels. The three units are all the same. It's all come from God. It's to show you to believe in God. This is what the whole thing is here. And we'll talk about when it occurred. So the rabbi is Michael. The shooter is Samel. Michael is the advocate of the Jewish people. Samel is the destroyer of the Jewish people. Michael takes the souls to heaven, and whose soul did he take? He took the soul of the woman that jumped in between. She jumped in between. $385, the Shekinah. And all three are 385, and then there's another 385. And what's that? That's Osea. That's Osea world, and that's where we are right now. The mamish, the practical, the physical, the gashmius. The level of how to transform the physical into spirituality. That's the whole secret. Know that these are real manifestations of angels, of malakim. Rabbi was Mikhael, the shooter, Samuel. The woman shot, who died, the Shekinah. She's the Shekinah. She came, this is all on the Yiska. She came for Yiska. She came for Yiska for her mother. She's a founding member of this synagogue 35 years ago, and responsible for funding and building it. She was chosen, the chosen people. And let me give you more. There were 4 people that were involved in all this death. The rabbi was shot, 2 others were shot, probably children there, and the woman died. So there are 4. These are the 4 spellings of Yud Hey Vav Hey. The Yud is the father, is the rabbi, the Hey is the wife, and 2 children. Will assume that they're a boy and girl. The Vav and the Hey. Those are the 4 names and the 4 spellings. 72, 63, 45, 50, and 52. That's 232. And they wait till you hear this. Why and how they split is that the angel Mikhael and Samuel, who I say to you are one angel, and that's split down here for functions, just like the tree of life and the tree of death split. They're one tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They're one tree. They split down here. Different functions. So the 2 names now, and that's why they have different regular numerology, because the 2 names of Mikhael is 101 and Samuel is 131. And when you add those 2 together, you get 232. 232 just so happens to be the 4 spellings of Yud Hey Vav Hey, of the Adonai name. 72, 63, 45, 52. Those are the 4 spellings of the 4 worlds. Another thing about this in particular is that the 2 names of Yud Hey, of Mikhael and Samuel, as that's the rabbi and the shooter. And something I just want to say, remember that miraculously the gun jammed. How'd that happen? Because he was only fated to do this, what he did. The gun jammed out of nowhere. Okay? So everything is fated so that there's a tremendous after effect from this. This is what it's called in Badu, Alan Badu. In my opinion, this is an event. There's so much positive stuff that's going to come out of this, if handled properly. But one of the things that shouldn't be done, and I've already heard that this morning, is that security has increased in synagogues. Security has increased in synagogues. In other words, they're going to be protecting themselves in synagogues. Where the samurai comes in and is going to shoot, because he's already dead, we're now protecting ourselves? No. I don't believe to increase security in synagogues, because all this comes from Hashem. We're not supposed to increase security. We're supposed to rely on Hashem. The other thing is the blocking of hate speech. We don't want to block hate speech. We don't want to block anything. Hate speech may create opportunity for advancement into Mashiach's time, because what happened in this day, on the 8th day of Pesach, it's a Yiska. You know, we have other people that are memorialized in that Yiska. You know, and the dead have souls that come back on this Yiskan act. Isn't that what happens? And then in a Chabad house, they were preparing for the Mashiach's meal at the end of the 8th day of Pesach. Coming of the Mashiach. Well, how is this going to come? It's bringing focus into this by, yes, a death. But person's transposed up to heaven. It's a hero. They say she died on Shabbat. She died on the 8th day of Pesach. Died being a hero in a synagogue. This strength, this energy. So let me give you another thing that's specifically Chabad. That Mikhael is 375. Excuse me, 385 in full. And Samel is 385 in full. That's 770. And that's the magic number in the Chabad world. That's where the Rebbe used to live, be, spend his prayers, everything, out of 770. 770 Eastern Parkway, or whatever it is there. 770 is a big number in Chabad. And wait till you hear this. And what year are we in now? If you add the letters of Mikhael, that's 5, and Samel, that's 4, that's 9. That's the magic 9 number in Judaism anyway. It's the two names of Yud Ke Vav Ke and Elohim. It's 9. And 9 is the, continuum number. If you add that to the 770, the 9 letters of the two names, you get 779, and I think that's the year we're in right now. This was supposed to happen now. Okay? 5,779. And you go by the last 3. So this is supposed to happen now. And we're supposed to use our real levels of belief and energize this upward. And I've seen some people on television. I saw a woman cantor. I saw another rabbi without a yarmulke. I saw all sorts of things. And they're the leaders of the people? No. I tell you that this was an event from angels, of Malachim. It comes from God using Malachim. And it comes on the day of a Mashiach's meal and of a Yiska. And there's so much opportunity here. And somebody has to say it. This is not, what do you call it? Not playing around. Opportunities occur every day. This is Kabbalah in real time. It's bringing energies that have been studied and written about for millennia, down into the real world, into the Osea world, 385, with other parallels of 385. Shekinah and Osea world. That's why this world is feminine. It's the same as Hosea. And the full potential of Mikael brought down. The energy that we call Mikael comes from Hashem. And the energy of Samel. Samel's the needed energy. You need that energy to create a tension and friction. That's what they call keneged in the Torah. You know, the man is keneged, opposite the woman. It's a tension. They're not the same. That's what creates the world. You need that tension. And here's what I've just explicated this event. Explicated this event. Okay? In a spiritual domain and method. That's the world I see. That's the world I live in. That's the Kabbalah world. It's called mystical. It's not physical. We just saw it in California in its manifestation. Recognize this and go with it.